Okay. Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding in Zevachim Daf Ches. We're starting in the two dots of the Zayin with base in the bottom. The Gemara says, "Chatos minol nechtiv v'shachat oisol lechatos." So the Gemara is asking now, after we learned that Pesach you have to do lishma, ask the Gemara, what about chatos? You have to do chatos lishma. So we know that Mishnah said that chatos of Pesach, if you don't do lishma, it's Pesach. What's the makkah? Says the Gemara, chatos minol nechtiv v'shachat oisol lechatos shet shchito l'shem chatos. Has to be l'shem chatos. Ashkon shchito. Kabbalah minor, that's shchita. How do you know receiving the blood? Tichti with avchesam nalef. V'lakach kohen midam achatos shetei kabbalah shel chatos. That's receiving the blood. Ashkachon shchita v'kabbalah zriko minor. How do you know zriko? Tomako v'chiber levakoyin michatos so shetei kapara l'shem chatos. So a kapara to l'shem chatos, and that's the idea of zriko. Which avoid we didn't mention over here? We didn't mention the avoid of ha'loch. Now, the Gemara already said before, the first of all, you can avoid. And second is that, can I be just about triach just to bring the water from there? I apologize. Sorry. So the idea, we didn't mention halacha. First of all, halacha you can avoid. And halacha and Kabbalah mention the same word. So, halacha is already taken care of. So once I know Kabbalah, I know Zriko, and I know Shchita, I'm good to go. So that's what we have. So that's what we know Shir Kodesh. Now, right away, everybody should jump up and say, what do you mean? We just learned. Thank you so much. How do we learn Legavik Pesach?
I got it to my phone.
How do we learn Legavik Pesach? The end of that is the previous daf. Nora said, because all the Korbanos, Hukshuz Alazah. So if so, say the same thing by Chatos. So right away Rashi is the one who asked this question. Right away Rashi says, why didn't we go back to the heck issue we said before? And Rashi is going to tell us, Rashi says, wait for the end of the Amud, where we're going to discuss it. We will get to it. Okay. So that Shiru Kodesh, a person changed the name of the Korban. Shiru Bailam Yinolam. Olav V'Loyal Chaver. It says Olav Chaver. It's coming to exclude the friend. Ashkon the mitzvah. Okay, so now you both know the mitzvah. You have to do it l'shem the right korban and l'shem bailim. L'akim, how do you know that's v'akiv? Kedoma Ravuno brings the Yeshua chatos chatosoi. Chanami chatos chatosoi. It says the word chatosoi. The drush is coming in the pasuk because it says v'chibel l'koyim michatosoi, and you want to say also v'chibel l'koyim michatosoi. Taitzes here is a long arichus. Which chatos exactly you're talking about? He says that the Pashup Shad in the word of the Gemara, you talk about the chatos that says by seir of the part of the nasi of the king that we learned in Sechazorius. And Taitzes asks, why do you bring the chatos that says the Gabi chatos itself? So Taitzes means wants to change the pasuk. That's why you see on the Torah or Sholem you have your two different psukim where we're coming from. Say Ashkon mitzvah, b'shinu kodesh, v'zriko b'shinu b'aylim bein mitzvah v'nakim. Okay, so Sachat Osoi, it tells you equal, but that's talking about zriko b'shinu b'aylim. La'akim b'chol avoid b'shinu kodesh. How do I know shinu kodesh b'chol avodos? Shah avoid b'shinu b'aylim bein mitzvah v'nakim. We know. Amad yoyino asa michatos nozir. Chiv v'hikriva kohen l'mnei Hashem v'asos chatosoi v'esolosoi. It says by nozir they have to do a chatos v'noilo. Sheto kol asiyois l'shem chatos. Yeah, another drasha l'shem chatos. Say b'ashkot shiru kodesh. Okay, so I see all the series of nozir to l'shem chatos. They say that shiru b'ayil minolam. I don't know shiru b'ayil. I'm still missing. So here we have two girsos in the Gemara. One girso is the parentheses. If I don't have shiru kodesh b'ayilim, ashkol mitzvah. In other words, according to the parentheses, that's what Taitzes says. The Gemara says, okay, I'm not using this to tell me Me'akiv. I'm telling you Shiri Bailim. But what does Me'akiv tell you? When I'm doing a certain avodah, it has to be Lishma. If I do it, say it twice, I have to do it not, if I didn't do Lishma, I ruined it. That's called Me'akiv. So the discussion that took your source is, what do I do right now? I have two psukim. Should I say the pasuk goes to Kodesh, and the second one goes to be Me'akiv?
To be what?
Me'akiv. To tell you that you must do it. If you didn't do it, it's possible. Or the first one comes l'kodesh, and the second one comes the bailim. Shirabayim. So till now, the Gemara said shirakodesh, shirabayim, then me'akiv. So it says that's where the gears of bayal should be like we have in the parentheses. You made it shirakodesh, shirabayim. Ashkan mitzvah me'akiv. So I say shirabayim, or me'akiv. According to Rashi's gear, so we're just asking that we don't know shirabayim. You know, I prefer to use la'akiv than bayil. Okay. Now here is the original.
Is it the same? I mean, it's the same word. Maybe that's why it wasn't la'akiv.
Yeah. No, because you bring the psuki of the Yabay Nasir.
We said we had one process of people with chatos, so that's how you know it had to be in the shade. That's the
And then I have the kriva kohen l'vnei Hashem by Nazir. So I have no extra psuki to teach you what. Is it teach you the Bible? Teaches you this. Very good. So the Gemara says that here it says chatos. Now I know ma'akiv. So we basically dash a double chatos. One chatos tells you ma'akiv by shirubay. The other chatos tells you the ma'akiv by other things. You know the Gemara.
There was one.
No, it should be more. Should be more.
Yeah, I looked.
What? Not even there.
You may have it downstairs.
That's strange. Maybe they're what he just brought in now. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Gemara dash v'chat So according to you, that when it says chatasoi, the extra vav teaches you something. So what is the other shalasoi will teach you? For the Ravino minchas minchasoi nisach niskoy ma'adosh b'hu. So Ravino is bothered by olosoi. What about minchasoi niskoy? Says the Gemara, I need it for something. That I can bring it even in the night, I can bring it even the next day. Here is a very gishmaka drosh, just a side point. There's a discussion in the poskim. Should I say shir shel yoim in mincha? Why? Because the shaila is by Tomid. Did they say shira? They said shira in the morning. Did they say shira in the afternoon? Yes. Why? Because shira depends on the sachim. So when I do the sachim, I do shir. So some of the places want to say I do the sachim, I do shir. Come the chayyim say, you see from our Gemara, niskam is the whole night. It's not enough when you bring the tummy. So it's not a good raya that you can do in the afternoon. Okay. So why do you say
the Yom on Tisha B'Av then?
Right, I didn't do it in the morning, so I'm mashing in the afternoon. That's already like called side thing. Okay.
Not do this.
Yeah, now then do this discussion, right? Says the Gemara, so what do I do with all these? The two, I can learn one from each other. I can learn from Nazir. You can't learn from Nazir. Because Dr. Rozorsky, tell the learn. Yeah. So he says, we're not learning Chatos Nazir. We saw it before. Nazir, he doesn't bring only Chatos. He brings also Oil and Shlam. Chatos Nazir, Chatos Chayev, learn from Rosh Hashanah cars. You can't learn from Chatos Chayev because then you have cars. So the kids there, I can't learn from each other. Hello, Marova, Asim, Echad, and Mitzoyu, learn from Mitzoyu. Dichtiv Asor, Kohen, is a Chatos, Shukos, Yoyis, Lashem Chatos. You learn from Mitzoyu. The Ashkot Shinu Kodesh. Shinu Bailam, you know, okay, it's not Shinu Kodesh. How do you know Shinu Bailam? But Makov Bechipel HaMetar, by Mitzoyu it says that the Mechaper on the Metar, HaMetar is there, HaMetar Chaveiroi. You can't change the owner. Ta'akatim Yavim Ayad Yulim from each other, Chadaschem, Chadatzoyu Lo Yofo, Sheken, Yeshim Odoi Mechir. Chaylev by Mitzoyu doesn't learn because by Mitzoyu the same question we have by Nazir. You know, by Mitzoyu he brings also, except Chatas, he brings also no, he brings the birds. So it's different. Chat Mitzoyu because Chaylev Legomo Sheken Koris. And Chat Mitzoyu doesn't learn Chaylev because it's a Chaylev, the same question. So when Chat also takes Chat Mitzoyu. I can't learn from Mitzoyu. I can't learn from Nazir. So I learn from both. Says the Gemara Be'aylo Lichtov. Meaning, which one you want to exclude and say now that it says an extra one, I have an extra limud telling me it's v'akiv. Which one I should write? Don't learn say the other ones. As I said before. Don't write Nozi, write from Mitzoy and Chelev. Nazir, you go to the Rav, it's like a nether, and you can say, I nullify it. They don't come when you're poor. I mean, by Mitzoyo, you have a special carbon for Daus. You don't have that by Nazir and by regular Chatos. So the Gemara says, I want to learn from each other. And you have extra. Which one is extra? So the Gemara has a problem. Concludes the Gemara, what we said before, got by Pesach. Everything learns from Shlomi. Same word by Shlomi, you always have to do it Lishma the mitzvah. I learned from Shlomi. Hilka mitzvah Mishlami. I learned from Shlomi. I have extra psukim. All these extra proofs that I can't learn from each other. I'll tell you what. Because I learned from Shlomi. That's what we said in the beginning of the daf. The Rashi asked, why are they going to not bring the Ekesh? Here's the Ekesh. So the Mahashka Chatas Chelav Nichtibo Lechatos. Okay, Chatas Chelav it says Chatos. What about something more than Chesed Ubeis? Chatas of Ishkechoviim. What about Chatas of the Zara? What happens to me with the Zara that we learn in Mesech Zorius? Or the Shmi Askoy Lubritas Asayim to his Migdash culture. What about the three other carbonas of Oil Leviyoyret? It's not a regular Chatas. How do you know over there you have to have Lishma and L'Shem Bailov? So like Tibu, Minola. Says the Gemara, Chatas of Ishkechoviim, Asami Chatas Chelav. Sheker Kares Kamoitsoy. They learn from Chatas Chelav because they're both Kares. Avodah Zarah and regular Chatas is Kares. The Hanach Kuliyom also Matzah. They all come from Matzah. Which Matzah? So Rashi says Michatas Chelav, Michatas Nazir, Umitzoyer. You take all three, you learn from there Korban Oil V'Yoyim. Why? The Chiparach says Rashi. Malachatas Chelav Kares. Chatas Nazir Mitzoyer Chichu. They're not Kares. They have the so each one has a man, the other one does not have. Now, and he says you can't learn from the other ones because you can say Dalus, so you can't learn from the other ones. So you mainly learn from Tzad Shave to all the Korban Oil V'Yoyred, you learn from there. Say there. That's the limit. Okay, now we're going to start the new sugya. Look, we're going to talk HaPesach bezmanoi lishmoi kosher, sheloi lishmoi pasul. Pesach on Yudale Nisan. Take her on Pesach on the 14th of Nisan. If you do it for Pesach, it's Pesach. What happens if I do it not for Pesach? Sheloi lishmoi. It's pasul. That's the classic case we said in our Mishnah. What do we start our Mishnah? Every korban you do lishma, it's kosher. If you do shlo lishma, it's kosher. Except there's two exceptions. What are two exceptions? Chatas and Pesach. What is the case that you do Pesach shlo lishma? Erev Pesach. That's when you do shlo lishma. Now, so lishma kosher, shlo lishma pasul. Ubishayim oisashano lishma pasul, shlo lishma kosher. And the rest of the year, if you do it lishmoi, you should l'shem Pesach. It's possible. Shaloi lishmoi, meaning I did it for what? For shlom. We'll see. Let's say shlomim. Then it's kosher.
You do it for anything, not for
Oh, we'll see. One is very good. This one is very good. Any other carbon is kosher. Now here, just a side point, just one important. Big Yisrael, the Piskirov over here. That quotes a lot. It's quoted a lot. We learned just 2 dapim ago that by Oshom, we have a thing you have to have nitek l'riyah. You have to designate it to be an oil. If not, it's still Oshom. Why is Oshom different than Pesach? Why Pesach automatically becomes something else? And Oshom, you have to designate it. That's a shayla of the Biskarov. It's the build-up, the Shittas and the Rishonim, but that's a shayla. So the Biskarov, the Minchas speaks about Arichus, that the Minchas, that Pesach is not something that when passes the time, it turns to be a shlam. But Pesach milchatchila is already a shlam. It's It's born Ashlam. Asham, when once it stops being Asham, now you have to reform it. You have to change it from being that to something else. But Pesach, it's Shlom to begin with. And there's a lot enough communities for that. And the Mishkar brings, I think, 4 or 5 different rayas. What? The Torah. How do you know it? He brings rayas to that. And you learn from the Psukim as well. The definition of the Pasuk is that they're already Shlomim to begin with.
Yeah, but he's not doing it for the Shlomim.
No. So it depends on his das. If he did L'Shem Shlomim, it's kosher. Even without Nitak. Nitak means the Beis Din said you have to make it now L'Shem Shlomim. You don't have to do that. Just by saying L'Shem Shlomim becomes Shlomim. Says the Gemara Minan Emili. What's the pasuk? Now here, just keep in mind, Shiloh to think about. The Gemara in the previous daf brought a pasuk. Not the previous daf. 3 daf ago. Regarding, we said, I don't even know the Pesach, Moiser Pesach Kar Shlamim. Because it says Minabakar. The Gemara now ignores this pasuk. So we'll get to that. The Gemara says.
Was that a source why it's originally considered a shlama?
No, because there, let's remind him a little bit the Mucher. No, because there is Moisar Pesach. Moisar Pesach, we have 2 Karbonos Pesach. So there, automatically becomes Shlamim. It's easier to say it. Mashiach, here we're talking about Pesach, Shabbos, Mana. It was supposed to become Yudaled, and you didn't do it, so it becomes Shlamim. Says the Gemara, okay, says the Gemara, Minan Emili. It says, in minat soin, it's a shepsele, sheep, it becomes shlamim. The over above minat soin, so it goes only from sheep, which is Pesach, yes, there was shlamim. It becomes shlamim. Says the Gemara, so that's what it's truly mentioned before. If I had in mind to make a Pesach into a shlamim, okay. What about if I was in mind to make a Pesach into a oil? Maybe it will be possible during the year. The rabbis call Zevach. It says Zevach Shlomim, not Shlomim. To tell you it can be any carbon. Okay, it can be any carbon. So maybe if he's thinking Shlomim, it becomes Shlomim. If he's thinking Oila, it becomes Oila. Maybe it depends what he's thinking. So when you have Chtiv L'Shlomim ve Zevach, Shlomim and also Zevach, get the carbon. How to Chtiv L'Zevach Shlomim, the call the Shakht L'Shlomim Lehavi. You learn from the way the pasuk is written that it becomes a shlomim. Whenever you think something else, oila, chatos, we'll see soon, it becomes a shlomim. Says the Gemara, 1 second, who said, Eimol, Zevach Klal, Shlomi Prat, Kala Prat, Eim Bichlal, Meshra Prat, Shlomi Im Midachin Eloi. So this, it's very similar to the Gemara we said before. The Gemara brought this idea that maybe this is a problem of Klal Prat, Zevach Shlomi, Zevach is a Klal. Shlomim is a prat. Meaning the only thing you can redesignate it to is to become a shlomim. But if you did it for something else, because possible. We wanted to learn Zevach Shlomim to L'Rabbis Kol Zevachim. Who said to learn L'Zevach Shlomim? Maybe L'Zevach is a klal and Shlomim is a prat. Klal a prat, that's one of the Yudgimel Midrash Shatur Drashas Behem, Rabbi Shmuel, what we say every morning. What's klal a prat to klal is some way to learn the Torah. And I have a rule, and then I have a detail. The detail limits the rule to tell you only the detail. So maybe that's what Torah is telling you. Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara, La Hashem Odor V'Kol. No, the word La Hashem comes to add more. It says Zevach Shlomim La Hashem, Zevach Klal, Shlomim Prat, La Hashem Klal. It's the exact same question we had before. It's not the same klal. Why? Because it says Zevach all karbonis. The klal basra says L'Hashem everything L'Hashem. See, he did korban Pesach, and he had in mind L'Shem oif for a bird, which is a very strange thing. Because what do you mean? It's not a bird. That's why I take an animal. I say this will be L'Shem Shlomim. Okay, I designate to be a different carbon. But I'm designating this to be korban oif when it's not a bird. Chiddush. Or I say the shem lemenachas. I have in mind this should be flour. It's not flour. So maybe, but still maybe then. But I'm going to say that the Ribui La Hashem teaches that it works. So the Gemara says klal prat klal here. The first klal is very limited, only for korban. The second klal adds more. So we say, yeah, as I said before, even though the klal basra is more than the klal kamo, Rabbi Shmuel, that's fine to do klal pratikal. Rashi in Nozir tells us why. What's the discussion in the Gemara? Which klal is more important? Is it the first klal or the second klal? I mean, do I say the first klal is teaching me? But maybe it's klal prat. Comes the last klal and says, no, it's not klal prat. So then you can't have klal basra more than klal kamo. Because klal kamo is the teacher. Or you say, no, the teacher is klal basra. The second klal is basra. Klal kamo just bring you to klal basra. So it could be more. Says the Gemara. So let's learn. Klal prat to klal. We're learning on the prat. Ma prat for a shoe shaloi lishmo v'kosher. David shaloi lishmo. If you do it shaloi lishmo, it's kosher at Pesach. Meaning shlomim. Av kol shu shaloi lishmo v'kosher. So I learned all about us. Says the Gemara, Ma prat for a dovo abo ben eder and dovo. Av kol abo ben eder and dovo. If you talk about shlomim, so maybe the only thing which is similar to shlomim that can become as a donation. So maybe we did according to Pesach l'shem chatos, it does not work. Hello, l'zevach ribuyu. So more, it's not because of cloud by the cloud. Zevach ribuyu. What does zevach ribuyu mean? So Rashi has your long arichos, and Rashi wants to say it's not a cloud by the cloud. Let's see Losha Rashi. Rashi here, look at the last Rashi. Hello, zevach ribuyu. Ain't no Losha klal. Below the shield of klal prat. She'ain klal tzpotis boy mi ribu losh. Klal prat is a column from an extra losh. And the mashmos because uki goin kol shetavin avshich klal. Chrabei mo klal bokvet soy prat. Aber zevach shlom shtei dvukisem. Kilu ketiv lezevach hashlom. V'koi sir be'almud have matzvet l'shlom. It's not two words. Rashi says, klal prat, you have to have a word standing on its own. Then another word, and that's a prat. Here it's two words together. The whole mikro shalosh shenitur einu klal prat elo rabbis kamalachtiv l'shlomim v'zevach domim l'isab l'koshlam. So it says Rashi, it's not the classic klal prat. Klal prat is a word on its own. Then another word. Then another word. Here the two words are connected. So it's not klal prat. So it's a loshrim. Toyza says, no, what are you talking about? It's not Pshat. We have it all throughout Shas. Throughout Shas, we have this idea. What is that? What do you have throughout Shas? That in general, whenever you have a klal but a klal, you can dash as a klal, something you can say, it's a ribu be'alma. Look at Moshe Toyza. Toyza says, last Toyza done. And the Zevach ribuyu, Masha Talmud shu ribuyu kedom echol klala kol ribuyu mashra lechalek ben kol lebechoyim. Sometimes a word is not a cloud. It's a ribui. Ribui means it's just adding things. No limitations. So Rashi says, Rashi's my Pirusha for no reason. It's not called Prat B'Klal because it's a Nismach. It's not called B'Klal because it's a Losha of Ribui. Losha of Ribui might be more. The same. Let's see a few more lines over here. Even though we may start from here on Rosh Hashanah. Says the Gemara, Eimo, l'chol d'shoked lehavakavasei. Maybe once you shechted for something else, it will be like that. So what we said before. The Gemara says, no, because what did the Gemara say? The Gemara said because it says shlomim. But zevach shlomim should be. But now we now learn for it. We learn for ribuy. Says the Gemara. It used to be Pesach which you eat it. So I moved it to be Shlomim which you eat. It's a I'm pushing, not going to make it to Chatas and Rosham which you don't eat. So what do you mean? Of course you eat Chatas and Rosham. That's it. What do you do with Chatas and Rosham? You eat it. The only korban you don't eat is what? An oila. Talking about kosher, they eat, everybody eats. Pesach, everybody eats. Shlomi, everybody eats. Which is what we're talking about? Chatas and Osham. Who eats Chatas and Osham? Kohanim, only Kohanim. So that's answer number one. Which means, Chatos and Osham is the korban. You bring chatos, the meat goes to the koyanim. The only meat that the owners eat is shlomim and Pesach. So that's why the Gemara says that's why you doich the shlomim. Which means Pesach to shlomim. Pesach to chatos. Okay, that's it. That's what I knew on Mamsh's thing. So Gemara says two answers. How do I know that when I did Pesach, it turned to Shlomim and not to something else? The answer is because either because it's Kosher Kalim, so I leave Kosher Kalim, or because it's Kosher Kalim, because it's a Necholim to everybody.
Isn't that the same as, it's the same thing, just calling it something else.
What?
It's the same thing, you're calling it any kosher in the bottom meat.
Yeah, oh, so it says taste what's the difference. Very good. Because was asking, what am I asking between the two answers? Look at the first taste over here. Toichim Kosher Kalim, Nero, the Bein Lebeis B'Avin, B'Avin, Ike Benayu, B'Chor. So B'Avin, Leik Lemifim, B'Chor, Dein Yechol Chol, what about B'Chor? So if you say B'Chor, now everybody eats B'Chor. But if not, you can solve the question. So that will be the question. And here the Gemara does not want to say Zevach Shlamim because the Chur go back to the Ribi. Okay, very good. We'll stop over here. And Be'ez Hashem, we'll continue from here or from the Shoshana 5:30.